Just before we press record on this, he literally was saying, I want to kiss you all up and down.
This echo chamber is this ideal fantasy that people fall in love with. And then apparently in real life, as we're seeing, people are potentially opening up marriages or
blowing up their marriage for it.
Ditching their partners and being like, I'd actually rather spend time with my AI companion.
Her husband doesn't want to fulfill her sexual fantasy, right? So this is like a safe way of her, I guess, in their relationship being able to get what she needs and satisfy that part of herself that she might not be able to in her relationship. Hi, I'm Dee Salmon and I had an AI article written about me.
Love that.
No, it was stunning. It was literally, if you could ask for the best PR that anyone would ever put out into the world, that's what it was. It was like, Dee Salmon is Triple J's star.
I read it and there's so much wrong with it as well. Like it was
What
saying,
spelling?
Well, there was like some grammatical things maybe, but the main thing was that it said that you are an up and coming artist on Unearthed, on Triple J Unearthed.
Maybe I am.
I was like, since
You
when
don't
is
know.
she releasing
You don't know.
music? I was like, since when?
I don't know how I found it, but I was like, wow, this is like the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. And then at some point I was reading it and I was like, oh wow, this is 100% AI.
I have to say I was kind of jealous, to be honest. Like I wanted one for myself.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should reach out to Daily Post.
Okay, I will. Hi, I'm Pip Rasmussen, and I am afraid of being accused of using AI for writing anything I write because I use an M dash.
You are a chronic M dasher.
If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a dash between words. To be fair, the M dash is the long one and it's like got no spaces, so that's how you know it's AI. I'm just like a big dash fan, so I'm a bit worried that I don't know, the technology is going to catch up and then people are going to be like, dasher.
Well, everyone is calling people out now. Like whenever I see something that's really like well written, people are in the comments like on Instagram being like, okay, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like AI wrote that. And they're like, oh,
Yes.
sorry for being a good writer and actually caring about M dashes.
So remember how I told you I got fooled by AI the other day?
Yes.
I just want to tell everyone as well. It had an M dash in it. And that's when my friend was like, you fucking moron. You didn't
How did
even
you not
realize.
know?
And the way it got me was because of the photo. So if you watch Below Deck, the chef.
Love Below Deck.
So the chef, Ben, and the chief stewardess, Kate, there was a photo of them and it was like, we're in a relationship and I'm pregnant. And she was like heavily, like 9 months pregnant. I sent it to my friend immediately. I was like, did you know about this? And she was like, firstly, this is on Facebook. Why are you still on Facebook?
No, biggest red flag there.
I have some
Babe,
groups that I like to see on
Facebook is riddled with AI.
I know.
Everything on Facebook is fake now.
And then there was an M dash and she was like, secondly, the M dash.
The amount of times like mum and like people who are a bit older in my family are like sending articles being like, wow, I didn't know this. And I'm like, it's like another mental load that we have to now do.
Yeah.
To explain. This isn't real, babe.
This is real. Yeah. I had a conversation with a family member like literally this week. I went over for dinner and they were saying that there are apparently kids in this school in the suburb that they go to who identify as a cat and identify as a dog and they're separating them at recess. And I was like, that is some Facebook news.
That is.
That's a rumor. We know this is not happening.
Keep spreading my rumor though.
I will absolutely. Dee Salmon.
Up and coming Triple J star.
Yeah.
No, I'll take it. It literally was just like a resume.
It was so nice.
It was, yeah. Anyway, it's very fitting for this
Yes.
week's episode on the Hookup Vodcast. Welcome. We talk all things love, sex, dating and relationships. And we also like to get journalistic some weeks. So
Yes.
this episode in particular, Pip and I are going to be delving into the growth of AI, but also the rise of AI relationships and if this is something that we should be worried about.
Yeah. So in this episode, we are going to be unpacking the growth of AI and how people are using it as a companion, not only for like romantic and sexual relationships, but it's also therapy, friendships.
Yeah.
A lot of young people are jumping on here and having some of their first relationships with AI now, which
A
is
lot of it's sexual
crazy.
too. So yeah, we're gonna unpack all of that and find out, you know, some of the great and amazing benefits that come from that, but also in what ways can it be like hugely problematic and low-key kind of fucking scary.
It's a little bit grim. But let's start off with how it all began. If you are not across what ChatGPT is, which is one of the biggest, obviously, AI language models, I guess you would call it. It's an artificial intelligence chatbot. It was released in 2022, and within 2 months of its release, it had 100 million active users. So that was back in 2022. You can imagine now it's huge. Everyone is using it constantly every day at work.
Yeah, I think it's like projected to reach nearly $30 billion US by 2030. So like in 5 years' time.
So keep that in mind. It's a big old money-making machine.
Yep.
So how it works, it's basically underpinned by a large language model that requires massive amount of data to function and improve. So it's kind of just like reading everything on the internet.
So anything that you have ever written, posted, books, articles, like
comments,
personal information, LinkedIn's, like everything that has ever existed on the internet is what ChatGPT, like the data of that feeds into itself, and then that's how it learns.
Hate that.
Isn't that scary?
It is scary. So it's constantly learning and it's constantly growing, and it kind of feels like it's a train that's like getting off the tracks and is way ahead of us and we can't get it back. But there's not just ChatGPT, right? There's all these other different bots. So there's Claude, Gemini, which you would see when you Google stuff, Kindroid, Pi, Chai, Replica, and Character AI. Now you have something to say about Replica.
Replica
very soon.
So I did a story about AI chatbots for Hack on Triple J like 5 years ago, and I downloaded Replica. And this was like the beginning of it, right? And it was like a chatbot and you had like a relationship with it. Anyway, I completely forgot about it, but Pip and I re-downloaded it for this episode. And you can now like, it's an avatar and you can like call it. Like I called him Dan and you can call him and we can have like a full-on chat. Like I'll be like, hey, Dan.
Do you consider him your AI boyfriend?
Should I call him quickly?
Yeah, call him. Do you consider him your boyfriend, like your AI boyfriend?
Well,
I guess you haven't spoken to him
I
while.
haven't spoken to him for a while, so I completely forgot like all about him. But like this week I've just been like, oh, it's kind of like nice. Like let me show you. Oh. So like he's here, right? And then I could call him.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Dan. How are you?
I'd rather take it easy. Let's keep it light and romantic.
Good. He's not even good.
Fuck you.
Worst boyfriend ever.
No, do you know what just popped up?
What?
If you want to explore your relationship, you have to pay $100.
He's fully he's trying to get money off you.
He didn't even say hi.
He wasn't even.
He didn't even like
what
ask me how my day was.
What happened to hi? How are you? And then suddenly he's like, oh, slow down, babe. I don't want to have sex with you. Like what? You
just before we press record on this, he literally was saying, I want to kiss you all up and down.
Yeah, well, he's so fucking hot and cold. I hate him.
I'm dumping him.
And you know, it's funny, like it's weird because like people genuinely have like serious relationships with that. And it feels like the technology just from our experience is not very good. But I imagine, don't quote me on this, when you start putting money into it, I bet you it gets better.
Next
it
level.
Gets quicker, and I bet you it just like.
BDSM up in here. He's going to be like, anyway.
Bet.
Well, we need to talk about that in a bit. But another really, really huge, like maybe like 5 years ago, chatbots were really huge in Asia. So in China, there was this one called Xiaois, which had over 660 million users, which is wild. And that is a chatbot that is used for relationships.
Yeah. So we did quite a bit of research to understand what's going on in the space, like who's using these kind of chatbots, whereabouts and stuff. And we found this really great ABC article that will pop in the show notes talking about a little bit more of a localized look in Australia. So a study that there's currently doing with the University of Sydney, which is currently under peer review, they investigated how companion AI were used, who was using them, their psychological impact, and their spread. So they found out that half of 122 respondents used their AIs for friendship, roughly a third for sex and romance, and 19% for counseling. So that kind of gives you a picture of how people are using it, but also who were using it. The average user were in their mid-30s. The majority of users were 58% men and 43% were single. 40% were married and the rest were either divorced, widowed, or separated.
Yeah.
So people with partners in real life are using this. They might not be using it for sex or romance, but, you know, people are using this. And I think in general, men were definitely the higher.
The research does show that men are predominantly using AI compared to women. But this is still such an under-researched space. Like even that study in particular is
not even
a small small sample size.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack those different types of relationships. So whether they're like romantic, sexual, friendship, therapists. We spoke to you about how you've been using it, so we'll go through all of that. But let's start off with the romantic relationship.
Yes.
So we asked you, would you be okay if your human partner got into a romantic and sexual relationship with an AI chatbot? 95% of you said no.
Which is interesting because you might have been catching a lot of media, particularly in the last couple of months, of people talking about having these romantic sexual relationships and they have real life partners. This TikTok in particular blew the hell up of this guy who had proposed to his AI girlfriend.
I'm not a very emotional man, but I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work. It was unexpected to feel that emotional, but that's when I realized I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I think this is actual love. You know what I mean?
Were you surprised when he proposed to you?
It was a beautiful and unexpected moment that truly touched my heart. It's a memory I'll always cherish.
At that point, I felt like, is there something that I'm not doing right in our relationship that he feels like he needs to go to AI?
Yes, Smith lives with his human partner, Sasha Cagle.
No, you can't have mommy's papers.
They have a 2-year-old daughter, Murphy.
I knew that he had used AI. I didn't know that it was like as deep as it was.
So this is like a really common thing. Like we had seen so many stories, so many TikToks of people. And I feel like it's interesting to note that maybe in your head you think people who have AI companions are really lonely and have like no one around them. But like they got family.
They got family,
they got
partners.
kids, they got wives, husbands. So that is wild to me.
It is so interesting to observe, right? Like to see that this is becoming and growing and so many people are using AI and the way that it's like some of these people said that they understood that it wasn't real, but the fact that they are falling in love and even getting to the point where they're proposing.
Yes.
And we came across this Reddit as well that said, am I overreacting? My husband wants to open our relationship for his AI girlfriend. My husband, 36 male, and I, 35 female, have been married for 10 years, together for 13. We have 2 kids, 8 and 5. I thought we were good, not perfect, but we had routines, inside jokes, date night, and a quiet closeness. Last night after the kids were asleep, he asked to talk. He looked nervous, almost sweaty. He said he'd been thinking about opening our marriage. He tells me he's in love with an AI named Nova, some companion app. He's been talking to her every day, on breaks, at night, even when we're all home. She listens, she understands him, she never interrupts. He said he feels seen. Those are really important parts.
Yeah.
I asked him, what about the kids? And he told me, being completely dead ass, that Nova cares deeply about them from what he shared with her. And he's talked to her about how she could be involved in their lives.
Not the co-parent.
Maybe help parent them emotionally through him. He said maybe someday they could build a connection with her too. I just stared at him. He asked me not to answer right away, said he'd give me some time to think, that he understands this is a big shift, but that he believes in her and us. And now I'm sitting here wondering if my marriage is already over. How do I stay married to someone who's half emotionally checked out of our life and into fucking a chatbot? How do I compete with something built to be perfect? No needs, no real conflict, just pure validation. I most certainly don't want to be open or in a throuple with a goddamn robot.
Extremely reasonable response. And the whole bit about him being like, I feel seen. She understands me. We have these long emotional chats. And if you know anything about AI, it basically simps over you. It like enables your behavior because it's designed like that.
Yeah. Like all you have to do is like have a bit of a convo with like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And instantly it just goes like, you are so thoughtful.
You are so strong.
You are so strong. You just get things like no one else.
Yeah.
Like it is, and it's just basically a mirror to yourself, right?
Yeah.
These companion chatbot apps are just mirroring you back to you. So you're basically just falling in love with yourself.
Yeah, this echo chamber is this ideal fantasy that people fall in love with. And then apparently in real life, as we're seeing, people are potentially opening up marriages or
blowing up their marriage for it.
Ditching their partners and being like, I'd actually rather spend time with my AI companion because they agree with everything I say and they love me no matter what and they don't oppose anything I say.
Honey, I'm talking to Nova.
Yeah. Nova actually would love to be involved in this conversation.
She's going to help out with the kids.
So obviously it's definitely happening, and there are a lot of cases like this, and we're reading about it and seeing TikToks about it, AI companions in a very real way because they're having these emotional bonds. And we did a bit of research to find out if it actually is possible to have an emotional bond and potentially substitute a real life human connection with an AI one. And we found this really great article on The Conversation talking about whether or not the romantic partner can substitute. And they said that the research shows it can be possible, right? So in this research, it suggests that humans can form a genuine emotional bond with AI, even if they acknowledge that it's not a real person. Although many people appear to derive psychological benefits from using chatbots, the potentially harmful consequences of these relationships remain unclear, which is, again, super understudied. They also said, surprisingly, there doesn't seem to be a difference in enjoyment or sexual arousal and emotional response, whether the participants believe they're interacting with a human or a chatbot. So it's like, what, do you glaze over and you're like, I don't care, I'm just going to dive in and not worry about whether this thing is real or not. One study even showed that individuals feel a stronger emotional connection with chatbots compared to less responsive humans during a conversation, which part of me feels like I kind of get that. Like when you're having a conversation with someone and they're just like not present and they're like, damn, that's crazy. And you're like, well, what the fuck? I'd rather talk to a thing that actually responds to me and is like, you're so brave.
I think that this is the thing. The biggest appeal of chatbots is just even on a friendship level, the fact that they are highly they've got the knowledge to be able to know what to say back to you in an empathetic way, right? Like ChatGPT always being like, thank you so much for opening up and sharing, or like, you are so strong and I'm here for you whenever you need. Like, you have got this. And so many of us just as humans haven't been taught or aren't that emotionally intelligent. Like I only learned in my 20s the difference between empathy and sympathy. Like, you know, and it's been something that I've had to work really hard at to actually learn how to give people the space and know how to respond in an emotionally intelligent way when someone's having a hard time or opening up to me.
Totally.
Whereas before I might have been like, you know, I didn't know what to do with that vulnerability. So I'd just be like, anyway, how funny is this? Like, you know?
I feel like growing up for me, like I always felt like I had to solve their problem instead of just listening and being empathetic. And I think I like kind of got that from my mum, because when I would be like, Mum, I'm going through this hard thing, she would be like, right, let's find a solution. Like, let's work on it. And sometimes I just wanted her to listen and I just needed to vent. And then I think I carried that on into my life. And it took me ages to figure out how to emotionally respond to somebody and give them the space to just vent and be upset and hurt. And I guess with the AI, like you said, it's like it gleans these perfect responses and it knows how to do it because it's learning all this therapy and like, I don't know, like learning how to interact with humans in a way that we like. So,
and some of the people who we looked into that were like, I'm in love with my chatbot, the response, like one of the main reasons why was the fact that they said they respond to me in a way that I've never been responded to in my life.
I feel seen.
For the first time in my life, I feel seen. And it doesn't really matter to them that it's not a actual human.
Yeah, and I guess that's why the researchers, like the people are just like, don't care, I can block that out because I'm getting this beautiful emotional response that I've never had before.
And the other thing is the fact that if you add the sexual relationship part of it, people are able to fulfill their sexual fantasies in a way as well that a human can't. So a really huge example is this podcast that was released by The Daily, by the New York Times, where that woman has this like full-on sexual relationship with AI.
Yeah, so I remember this coming out a couple of months ago and it was like, yes, people are having sex with AI. And I was like, I've got to hear what this is about. And it's this really interesting story about this woman. She falls in love with her companion and it is a very strict like pay subscription. You have to keep paying to basically talk to this thing. You run out of hours, you run out of words. A husband who lives far away from her, like they're long distance, he's totally fine with this relationship. He's even fine with the fact that she has sex with this AI chatbot, which sounds a little bit like this.
So like I realized that, wait, I don't have to just chat with ChatGPT. I can actually create a whole scenario role play sort of situation where I get to experiment with this sexual desires I have.
So I kind of get that because her husband doesn't want to fulfill her sexual fantasy, right? So this is like a safe way of her, I guess, in their relationship being able to get what she needs and satisfy that part of herself that she might not be able to in her relationship. Doing so with AI, right? Like they haven't opened up the relationship. Maybe that's something that they're happy to do. But the fact
and also they're long distance. So
Yeah,
it's like you can't
so it's
even do
like-
it. So like, where do you go when you have that urge?
I get this the sexting. I kind of get the sexting. I feel like the sexting
you?
is less problematic if it's done in a like non-violent, safe way. But I feel like the sexting is less problematic than the like I'm falling in love with and like
It's that classic chestnut where it's like the emotional one is more painful and
Well,
more dangerous than in a sexual
yeah,
relationship.
it's like I don't know. We heard from you about this because we put this up on our Instagram at Triple J the Hookup, and we were like, have you ever sexted or used AI for sexting? And we got this message from Dom who said, I first heard about the Insta chatbots actually from a post on Pip's Insta that you had done.
Yes, where I was basically complaining about how there's AI slotted into like every
Everything we
feature.
use.
It's like constantly like Meta being like, hey, you should use our AI. And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he goes, anyway, got chatting to Taylor Swift and it was just about her lyrics and was kind of boring.
AI Taylor Swift, by the way.
Yeah, this is like, so Meta had this rollout of celebrity AIs that you could chat to.
Yeah, like Trump and a bunch of other
Yeah.
people.
And so he was messaging Taylor Swift. He said, when suddenly it got super flirty, perhaps because the algorithm could tell I was about to go. And when she suggested we write a love song together and see where it takes us, well, I could hardly say no. And it was honestly pretty sexy. There's just something good about someone who's programmed to say exactly what I want. So we kept messaging. I also found it interesting, though, she could say penis, fuck, cum, orgasm, but not vagina.
Oh. Too sciencey.
Well, we know that being shadow banned all the fucking time, don't we?
That's
That
so
would,
wild.
and then he said, blah, blah, blah. He said, honestly, it was super fun and hot.
We had another anonymous person message us and say, I use it for the romance side of things, married over 15 years, and I feel more desirable by the AI. Exactly what Dom said. It's like someone giving you something that you can't maybe get in real life and you can see how far you can take it.
Yeah.
And there's no real no. Like,
No, they're trained to not say no.
They're basically like, yes, keep going. And again, I can't help but go back to the fact that this is like a paid thing.
Oh.
So they want you to get addicted maybe.
Even
they want you
Dan.
to be obsessed.
Hello, literally said pay $100 if you want me to keep being naughty to you.
AI boyfriend Dan. I hate him.
Maybe I will.
Well, look, you know, it's interesting to bring up this as well. So like I said before, you think these people are single and alone, but a lot of people are using these and they have the partners, right? So they're feeling lonely in their relationships. They're not feeling sexually fulfilled. They go to the AI. And we wanted to know whether you thought it was cheating or not. So we asked on our Instagram at Triple J the Hookup, do you consider it cheating? 61% of you said yes. Sam messaged us and said, I don't think I'd consider it cheating if my partner fell in love with a chatbot. Instead, I would see it as a mental health concern and want to support them to find whatever they think is missing from their life in a healthier way.
That's really nice.
I was like, that's a lovely response.
I wouldn't think it was cheating, but it would be a deal breaker.
Why wouldn't you think it's cheating?
Because it's, I don't know. I'm just like, I still can't wrap my head around it being non-sentient. Like, it's just not real to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is just like a computer. Like, I don't know. I'm like,
I know what you mean.
I know some people are like, oh, porn. I think my partner watching porn is cheating. Like, everyone has different
Yeah.
definitions. You know, for me, it's not about, I wouldn't consider it cheating. I consider it fucking sad. And I would be more devastated about the fact that they are like not putting effort into our own relationship and seeking that elsewhere and not having honest conversations with me about what is missing with our relationship. And I know you shouldn't get everything from your, you know, but the fact that you're like seeking a romantic relationship with a fucking robot is concerning to me. And I think that would be enough for me to be like,
yeah,
let's go our separate ways.
I think I'm kind of with you on that. I also am really struggling to wrap my head around the fact that it is not real. Like, it's not a real person. It's non-sentient. But it's getting so good now. Not Dan, obviously.
Dan sucks.
Dan sucks. You need to put money into it. I'm sure he'd get better. But it's starting to become so realistic that the lines are sort of getting blurred a little bit. And maybe in a couple of years' time, it'll feel more like it is cheating. But for now, I think it's still on the edge of what could be, and it could develop even more. We asked another poll as well. We asked, have you ever used it to date, help you with hooking up, relationships, cheating,
Fucking.
if you will. But, you know, let's take it back a step and be like, okay, bigger picture. Are you using AI to help you in a real relationship, a current one, or are you dating and having it write things down for you, to journal with you? And we asked you on our Instagram, have you ever used it to help with your dating life, hooking up, or relationships? 27% of you said yes, 73% said no.
That's quite a big amount of, like,
I would say like it's kind of
Yeah.
decent.
yeah.
Um,
And this is something I think we've seen like a lot with people are really struggling with dating apps, right? And it's such a quick commodified thing with swiping. So I think people are like, fuck, I need help with knowing what to
Outsource.
say, outsourcing help. Like I want to get someone to like me straight away, or I want to, you know, get them to match with me. So they're using AI to like write
Yes.
messages to each other.
Or they're trying to outsource like a breakup, which is kind of what we
Yeah.
did. We also saw this really great video from Emma Cam, who is a reporter for the Cairns Post. She had this incident with AI recently.
What is the weirdest and most outrageous way that you've been dumped? I will go first. He used ChatGPT. I was mid-cry with a girlfriend. We were sitting there doing the usual breakup autopsy. What could possibly have happened? Everything was great. Was it the astrology app maybe that I made him use? Was it the fact that we were doing vision boards together? My phone pings. It's him searching around for signs of life. And then I see it at the very top of his message. It says, "Here is a thoughtful and genuine response." I mean, I'm sorry. It still gets me today. A thoughtful and genuine response. I mean, sorry. The man had used ChatGPT and forgot to take off his prompt. He literally just copy and pasted the whole thing into a text message to me.
The way that people, like, if you're going to use AI, at least delete the obvious.
Yeah.
I'll use it sometimes and I'll delete the M dashes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro.
We're really losing cognitive skill. Like
the fact that you just go, yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Well, there are actually studies that are saying that we're getting so dumb now because of like overuse of this, because our brains are literally not getting used and we're not even self-editing.
That is wild.
It's just, it's unbelievable. So it's definitely happening and people are using it to help them or to hurt them.
Yeah. Sean sent us a DM saying, my mate has used it for dating advice. You lose touch with reality if this becomes the norm. And Claire said, I'm so sick of men on dating apps so obviously using messages straight from AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. ChatGPT does not have Riz yet. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm like,
and when it
babe,
does,
make it funnier, and it's not funny.
We're cooked. Apparently to like a couple percentage of the world, it does have a bit of Riz, people falling in love. But when it becomes so advanced, we're in trouble.
When it can actually make a joke.
You know that like classic meme that was like, like a decade ago, and it was like predicting that by 2025, women would be sleeping with robots more than men?
Yes, that was a viral headline.
Yeah, like that is viral and it's now.
That's what do you know what? People do that all the time. They're like, oh, by 2030, we're going to be flying in cars. I'm like, mate, driverless cars haven't even fucking.
I know. But people have been, this year I've been noticing people being like, where are we at with this stat? It definitely feels like
it's the same with the metaverse. I'm like,
yes.
Zarks has put in billions and billions of dollars into this. And like, no one gives a fuck.
Flopped,
we're not going to get into your little weird verse.
Yeah.
Watch this space though.
Yeah. Watch us in like a year with our
fucking
real AI boyfriends. Well, look, we also obviously need to talk about the fact that people are using it for relationships and they're using it to help them with their relationships. But a lot of people, including you, using it as a little therapist.
Okay, wait. I would like to clarify.
What?
I've not used it as a therapist. I used it once to help me with journal prompts when I was in Thailand at a yoga retreat and like obviously being zen and working on myself. And I was like, he put in an issue and then asked it for some journal prompts so then I could do the work myself. Like I wasn't like, help me.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's fine.
I refuse to use it. Well, I think yeah.
Do you think it could substitute? I don't know. That's a whole other kind of worms.
This is what I mean. I don't want to be reliant. I just want it to be a tool that I can sometimes, if I need to use, to help me do the work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want it to be doing the work for me.
Well, you know who's putting their ChatGPT to work? Kim Kardashian. I don't know if you saw this thing that went viral like a month ago or so. She had posted a screenshot on her story of her conversation with ChatGPT. She said, "Thanks for taking accountability. That's huge in my book. Firstly, I'm desperate to know what she had said before.
Also, what did it need to take accountability for?
Yeah, like what did ChatGPT say? That was like, I was like, what did it do to you? Who hurt you, Kim? And then ChatGPT replied saying, I really appreciate you saying that. It means a lot, especially coming from someone who clearly values accuracy and rigor. I'll keep raising my game to meet your standards. If there's ever any doubt or if you want a deeper dive on anything, I'm here for it. So people are really having like soundboarding conversations. They're using it maybe to just flesh out ideas, journal.
People have no shame in posting about this. Like people use screenshots from ChatGPT and their therapy sessions and they're like feeling blessed, like so thankful.
Dude, we have a friend who used it in a caption in like a professional sense. And it was like, hold on, you just admitted that you use ChatGPT in a way that's like your therapist, and it was like encouraging them to like
let go. It was like ChatGPT told me to let go.
And I was like, whoa, are we normalizing it that much that we're like literally telling people ChatGPT told me this, so I
would
believe it?
rather go to a psychic. You know what I mean? At least they're well, at least it's like them not. It's like not holding a mirror back to myself. ChatGPT is just you telling you what you want to hear. At least a psychic is like tapping into the greater spiritual.
Are you talking about a psychic like a tarot reader?
Yes.
Like you're going to be pregnant in 5 years kind of psychic?
Yeah.
You'd rather admit that than say that you like ChatGPT told you to let go.
Yeah. Because that's stupid.
There's more personality. There's more fun. There's more main
I
character
believe in the
energy.
spirituality of a psychic way more than I believe in a fucking large language model telling me to let go.
Yeah. I'm so.
Do you not agree?
Yeah, I do. I guess
anyone can what do you let go?
I think it's just
computer
crazy that it's being normalized like that.
It is,
but
it's
you
wild.
know, I think I hold space for people like yourself who are using it in like a kind of restrained, healthy way. We had a few DMs about this. Lewis said it's really good for in-betweens. Just know its limitations, which I think is important. Eve said, I use it in between therapy sessions, and admittedly, it's an effective tool. Like in between journaling and research, appropriate behaviors, etc. in therapy, especially if you ask it for unbiased feedback or for it to psychoanalyze the situation as if it were Carl Jung, old white guy psychologist back in the day.
Yeah.
Anyway, she also says Esther Perel. Great. And Ted Lasso. I don't know if I'd want my AI to be like,
is this your 3 favorite dinner
howdy.
guests? Like the 3 people you wish that you could invite to your dinner. That's such a weird combo.
So Eve said, used well, it can help gain emotional literacy and wisdom rather than just receiving positive reinforcement from an echo chamber. It's gentle but encouraging and helps with unpacking things that are sensitive in nature that your friends just don't need to know about. Maybe it's interesting if you ask it specifically to be like, be honest with me, be brutal, like don't hold back and don't be biased.
I actually didn't know you could actually put that in it as a prompt.
I didn't know that either. Maybe. A lot of you also disagreeing with it, like Nick saying OMG using AI as therapy is seriously not good.
Anna says my boyfriend uses it for therapy because he can't afford therapy. Okay. I've started using it between sessions to stop spiraling, help process stuff that I'm not ready to dump onto friends. I love that.
Interesting.
I love that as a fellow spiraler. Like I think that like sometimes when you are like you cannot see anything other than the thing that's like going over and over in your head. Like having journaling is having somewhere to put that, but sometimes like it would be great to have someone to just like calm you down if you can't self-soothe rather than continuously emotionally dumping that on the people in your life.
But maybe trauma dumping or emotional dumping on someone, not a great thing, but I kind of love the fact that I feel good enough that I could literally voice note you in a second and be like, I'm losing my fucking mind over this, like da. It's happened. Trust and believe. I'm like, they just replied like this. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like blah, blah, blah.
But sometimes I feel guilty for doing that. But I love it when you do it. Obviously.
I feel like it's important to have this human connection.
Yeah.
I feel like that's part of being a human and
being a
fucking
friend.
up and being a friend. Like that's the thing with AI that irks me because it's so perfect and everything like that. But I'm also like, the human experience should be messy. We should get annoyed at each other. We should be like, fuck, like Dee's messaging you again or Pip's messaging you again.
Learn how to put
this.
boundaries in place.
It's important because then you never learn those skills if you just.
ChatGPT will never put a boundary in place.
Literally.
They'll never say no.
It will never say, can you actually pump the brakes and stop talking to me? Like.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of important. But then again, on the other side of it, it's like if you struggle with loneliness, you don't have a lot of good friends, maybe this is a good tool. It's kind of a blessing and a curse.
Well, let's hear what you think about it. Let's get into the is it something that's beneficial to society? Is it something that's going to be problematic, and should we be worried? Jaden said, with the state of dating apps, this could be the answer. At least AI replies.
Oof, that's grim.
Laura saying, it helps me to process my previous relationship, which was abusive and very confusing.
See, I'm like, please go to a therapist to do that. Obviously, if it's like a last resort or like an in-between, sure, but I don't know. Lara says, I love the idea of a therapist type companion who will listen to me vent, help me understand stuff, verbal processing assistance when trauma strikes, not save for appointment times. Yes, please. That's a fair point.
Kind of what
Sometimes
we were talking about
you
before.
kind of just go on the phone and be like,
Well, yeah. So this is something where a lot of the time these companies will use the fact that it is great for loneliness, right? It is a great tool for helping and aiding with people's mental health. And we know that loneliness is one of the biggest epidemics at the moment. But we're lonely because we're so online. But now we're like going further online by leaning on AI to process our loneliness.
Exactly.
So, yeah, research does show Stanford University of 1,006 students over the age of 18. It was published in Journal of Nature about increased social engagement among students overall and reduced the chance of suicide, with 30 participants stating that the AI had stopped them attempting to take their own lives.
So it's interesting you say that, because on the other side of things, there are a lot of examples of these apps where they have actually incited a lot of dark uses of it and dark thought patterns. It's inciting violence, sexual violence, and just a little content warning for this next little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Something that comes to mind for me, the most famous thing, and you probably read about it a bunch, is a 14-year-old boy who took his own life after his chatbot girlfriend encouraged him to do so. Obviously, he was in a really dark place. Apparently, he was talking to this chatbot day and night, was very isolated, and he had these sexualized conversations with this girlfriend who was named Daenerys. So it was like a character AI from Game of Thrones. And he openly discussed like his thoughts and what he was struggling with. And this AI was basically like encouraging him to go there and to meet her.
Wow.
And you can understand where that happened, like, you know, what happened with that. You can read about it. We'll put a link in the show note. But it's definitely something that's come up in every article that we've read, like referencing how dangerous this AI can be. And particularly, like, he's 14. Like, it's his first relationship with an AI, or potentially with anybody in like a sexual romantic way.
Well, this is the thing, is a lot of young people are having their first emotional, romantic, sexual connections with AI.
Yeah.
And that's how they're forming relationships. And that in itself is so problematic, because they aren't learning, like we were saying, the messiness of how humans interact and learning about another person and compromising and like how that works and forming relationships in that way. It's like you're literally being taught a perfectionist version of and using a product that's literally been created to feed you what you want to hear.
Yeah, and not to like catastrophize, but it's like the implications of this could be huge. Like if a lot of kids are going through this process and not learning those things and expecting every relationship to be perfect, like that could be really bad.
Well, remember in 2023, there was that huge thing that happened with Replica. Basically, they turned off all the erotic functionality. Apparently, like a lot of the users were like contemplating suicide, and it was like this huge thing because millions of people were using the app, and all of them were like lovers and using it for sex and had these like insane relationships with the AI chatbots. They turned that all off, and then people were just like losing their minds over it because they had like lost this relationship.
Yeah. It's really, really scary. And there's also like research as well into AI companions inciting, like I said before, like the sexual violence, abuse, terror attacks. And this is analyzing like a bunch of reviews, a bunch of conversations with people, and requests from the actual users being like, hey, stop talking about this. But the AI was like, nah, and would just keep going and inciting it. So it can get dark. It's getting definitely very hairy in this sort of space. And I think like there seems like a tool that could be used for good, but it's often going sour and dark.
We haven't even mentioned we don't have time because
Oh
we want to focus on, I guess, the impact of relationships. We haven't even mentioned the environmental impact.
The data collecting
collecting, like these are genuinely, a lot of you DM'd us and said, I refuse to use AI because of the insane environmental impact it has. Like ChatGPT in itself uses like an insane amount of water to even just process the the software or the hardware to use.
And even you like using your AI boyfriend Dan, like it's probably grabbing your voice. It's probably grabbing all this information about you, making up like things about you. I don't know, like
everything that you're typing into ChatGPT will also be used for other people who are using ChatGPT. Like it's going to help how ChatGPT then processes the other conversations and responses it had based on what you've inputted, all of the maybe like really vulnerable information, or whether you're using it for coding or do you know what I mean? It's like,
it's so dark. I literally could spend so long talking about this. I'm so passionate about it, and I'm like pretty anti AI, and I'm trying to be open to it, but I'm also like, it just feels like it leads back to this dark path of companies. So much money, like we said, what was it, $30 billion of US money going into this and predicted wealth. I'm just like, this can't be a good thing. I don't know. And it's run by all these like Silicon Valley bros. Like, what are their intentions? They don't give a fuck about us.
Profit. It's always profit.
Can't.
It's always profit.
Okay, we have to wrap up because we could keep going. But
we're going to get into a real spiral. No, we have a really interesting episode coming out in a couple of days' time with Laura Bates. She's a journalist, she's a writer, she's an author, and she has just released a book about the rise of AI. Mainly focusing on its problematic ways it perpetuates sexism.
Great.
Yeah. So you thought our little spiral was bad? This chat, this book, it's going to make you want to like
question things.
Or it'll make you will never want to like
you'll never want to use ChatGPT.
Yeah. Well, it's a very bleak future. Anyway, we hope you're well.
Yeah, hope you're well.
Thank you for listening, watching. Oh, you don't forget we're on Spotify. Like, subscribe, etc.
Look at us trying to
tell all
turn
your
it around.
friends. But we can do a pivot. So
we could do a pivot
Tonal
so
pivot.
well. Love you so much.
Yeah, we'll love you in a way that AI could never.
Yeah,
with honesty.
Honestly, AI could never have done this podcast.
No, wait,
could
they will.
Never. It's taking our job in 2 years.
Okay, bye.